And welcome back. Let's go ahead and take a further look at using lists and sorting these into different versions. Now, last time we looked, of course, at a numeric list. Let's look at this with more of a string-based list here. And so I've gone ahead and set up my method that's going to go ahead and allow me to fill this with user input rather than relying on a statically defined list. And so again, I'm going to have a short list here because it's going to be easy for us to demonstrate. And so what we're going to do is we have our sort names method here that we're going to call, which of course is simply going to take in 5 names and append it onto the list. And from there we can build things out. So let's go ahead and actually start assigning some values to these. So for example, if we want to have a list of names, let's just say name list, we can set it equal to sort names. And if maybe I want to have a second one later on, I'm just going to come down here. So another name list, and I'm going to call that with sort names again. Okay. Open close parentheses. And now what do I want to actually do with these? So for example, maybe I want to, let's take our name list for example. And let's go ahead and look at some methods we can do. So for example, we could reverse the order of that list. All right, and that would, of course would allow us to reverse it. But I might want to first sort these lists here. So let's go ahead and sort these. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and add in a print statement here so we can see what these look like. So let's print out name list here. And I'm going to do again a couple calls of that here just so we can see what this looks like each time. And then let's just go ahead and give this a run. And so it's asking us to enter a name. So let's call Bill, George, Frank, and how about Bob? And we need one more. Let's do Henry. All right. And so you can see our original list is print out Bill, George, Frank, Bob, Henry. Then we called the sort command, which you notice it now does Bill, Bob, Frank, George, Henry. And now we told it to reverse that list, so we got Henry, George, Frank, Bob, and Bill. Now keep in mind that this, of course, is assuming that we are, having some ignore case stuff going on. Remember how we talked about you need to add a flag in here if we want to have that rule for it to treat things differently. Because otherwise, remember we had, let's say, a lowercase b in here and an uppercase b. Those aren't treated as the same character. So we, of course, would have to adjust that. But for now, for our purposes right here, we don't have to worry about that. So let's just go ahead and continue with this demonstration with another name list. So what do we want another name list to be? So if you notice it's asking us for another name, I'm just actually going to go ahead and clear this because I'm going to assume I want to do a couple more things here. So for example, let's just say once we fill this other name list, let's, for example, have a full name list, or how about combined, there we go, combined name list. And we're going to have that equal name list plus another name list. And if you remember, this concatenations was going to allow us to go ahead and put those together. So we're going to go ahead and print combined name lists. But of course, if I do this, one thing you'll remember is this won't be sorted here. And that's okay for our demonstration purposes here. So let's go ahead and enter some names. So we have Bill, we have Frank, George, Bob. Oh, apparently it's still running here, so let me just clear that again one more time. Clear terminal, thank you. So Bill, didn't hit run here. There we go. Here we go. Bill, Bob. We do George, Frank, Henry. Hit enter. Of course, it did our run command that we want, and now we have our new set of names. So let's just go ahead and do Amanda. How about Nicole? Britt. Let's come up with some more names here. How about Elizabeth? And one more, let's do Shannon. All right. And so now you can see it went ahead and just affixed those other names here onto the list. And what is cool about this is that, again, remember this is not done here with this sort, but I could take this combined name list and I could, of course, sort that. So let's just do the combined name list, call our sort command, rerun this program. And so we'll do Bill, let's do George this time, Frank, Henry, Bob, and then again we're going to print out our new names. So we have Amanda, Britt, Nicole. Who else the other one we had? Elizabeth and Shannon. There we go. Elizabeth and Shannon. All right. So again, we have our names being displayed out here, but you notice we didn't print out that sorted list. So let's add in that print command one last time here, and we'll just rerun this program just for one more go. Oh, and I have too many spaces here. So if I rerun it one final time, Bill, George, Frank, Henry, Bob, and then we have Amanda, Elizabeth, Nicole, Shannon, and it was Britt. All right. Now, of course, we have our unsorted second half here, but then you notice it sorts it, and you can see now the advantage of this is because we can call that sort command. Even though we combined those lists, it sorted the entire thing for us, which is pretty nice. So having these built-in functions for us works really, really well when we start dealing with certain things.